Hello, Anna, and thank you for being part of this experience today. I would like to start by welcoming you to Core Worlds. And for those of you who don't know Anna, she is the coordinator of Brahma Kumari's Meditation Center in Lebanon. Anna, would you like to start by introducing yourself and talking a bit about your journey?
First of all, I would like to thank you for creating this opportunity to be together and with all our friends that gave their time to be with us now. And my journey started in '87 in Greece. My academic background is Greek philosophy, and one of the reasons why I found myself studying philosophy, not only to have a degree, but to find some answers. I didn't find the answers I was looking for, but at some point I had glimpses of something higher, of a higher consciousness, some glimpses of truth. And these moments I can never forget. And they were actually the reason why I started this journey towards the light, towards truth. And I've been here in Beirut for the last 14 years or so, and the main reason is to share these experiences that have grown and accumulated along the journey with everyone who is open and ready to see some of these glimpses as well.
Definitely, and thank you for sharing all of this with us. So, Anna, I speak today on behalf of myself and my brothers and sisters who are watching us, and also the viewers that are with us. Each one of us being on a different stage and on a different path or journey towards spiritual growth, towards into the light. So this brings me to the first question that I would like to ask you. What is the objective of meditation? What are we really trying to achieve? Is it simply mindfulness, or is there anything more? Because nowadays it's very hard to quiet that monkey mind. So is the objective of meditation to make our minds blank?
Meditation is one of these words that has been used and is being misused in a way a lot in our days, in the sense that there are more and more types of meditation popping up.
Yes.
So what is the original meaning? What is, in essence, meditation? So we can say that we have all experienced some moments, or even more than moments, of a meditative state of mind. And it is those moments when we feel connected with something deeper within us. And these moments might have been for no reason, just waking up and feeling great and feeling a higher consciousness. Or it may have been because of being nature or some nice music or good company. So we have all experienced these moments where we feel deeper feelings connected with the self. So we can say that at that time we're meditating. So what is meditation? Meditation is this natural state of being in truth.
Beautiful.
But because now we don't know how to be connected with the true self, we have to use some information, some knowledge, some understanding, and then practice based on this understanding, so that we can start remembering our truth until we reach a stage where we experience the true self all the time. So then it's not a matter of doing meditation, it's just being myself. So we can say to meditate means to start creating thoughts based on understanding, based on truth. Thoughts, but in a deep way, concentrating, so that I can experience the essence of these thoughts. I can experience the truth again.
Very nice. Do you see a connection between meditation, between thinking, between visualizing, between relaxation?
Very much so, because meditation is absolutely connected with the mind. Yes, the aim of meditation is, as we said, through understanding, to experience truth, which means to become the master of our mind and our senses, to be the sovereigns. And this involves thinking, but now thoughts based on truth. It involves reflection, and it definitely has a very relaxing effect on the body and or on our inner environment.
Thank you.
We feel relaxed,
Yes.
not only the body, but we feel relaxed. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Can you describe your own meditation practice? I mean, I'm sure that the people who are watching us right now, some are beginners, others are more advanced. Maybe some questions to guide the beginners. For instance, what is the best time of the day to meditate, or for how long should we meditate? Should we be seated? Or should our legs be crossed? Our eyes open or closed? These little details that might help a person get into a meditative state. Probably the environment that we put ourselves in, the music, the incense, the breathing techniques.
Right. So our aim is to be able to use our mind in the right way, based on thoughts of truth. And this implies that since we are thinking all the time, so we should be free, at least at some point, from any external support, because who guarantees or how often we can have the right environment, the way you described it, like incense stick and music, because meditation is a natural state of being. But until we reach that stage, we have to be realistic and see where we are starting from. And we are starting with a mind that is like a monkey. So we don't want this, as you said, monkey mind to be challenged. So that's why we create an environment to start with, where there is silence, maybe some music that can have a calming effect, and some pleasant fragrance, and all this can help. But more than all of this, what helps is understanding, using knowledge, using truth. So we don't need to have any specific position, any posture for the body. Though contrary, something that doesn't distract us, a position that doesn't distract us is preferred. So all of this, and definitely the early time is the best time, because it is a foundation for our day. And so if I start my day with 10, 15 minutes or half an hour, where I connect with myself and I merge beautiful feelings that are within us, then they have an impact, a natural impact throughout the day. Otherwise, I wake up and then my mind takes over and I start thinking about what I need to do and what I did and people and repetitive thoughts for no reason. And what quality these thoughts have, we all know. So unless I create the time very consciously every day for some time. That may increase, because when we start practicing, we start experiencing treasures and we want more and more. So this is the best time, the morning. But then also in the night before I go to bed, it's good to again remind myself and go to sleep with the right thoughts that are going to be the first thoughts when I wake up.
Very important.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Yes.
And during the day, some traffic controls.
Yes.
That is, you can stop every 1 hour, every 2 hours, and again remind yourself and connect with these positive qualities.
Nice. And for those who are a bit more advanced, a question that would arise would be, is there a focus, a center focused in meditation, and if so, is this focus inwards or outwards?
There are different practices that use some phrases, mantras, or some external objects. And at that period of time that the mind is focused on something, there is the absence of all these stressful thoughts that are otherwise occupying our mind. Mm-hmm. So in that sense, this kind of practice brings some benefit. But our aim is to use our valuable attention, because attention is a valuable tool that we have in our hands, a valuable function, and focus on the self. Instead of focusing on something outside the self, we focus within the self, on the self, so that we can experience the qualities of the self. Attention is like a spotlight that highlights, shines light, whatever you give the attention to. So why to give my attention to objects or to external situations or to whatever, and not start giving my attention on who am I really? And with time we learn to focus more and more our attention, and so the more we focus, the deeper the experience. And one reaches a stage where to be gently concentrated all the time is natural.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned before that meditation is a natural state. Do you believe, especially that you're saying that the end result should be that a person should be continuously in a meditative state, should be continuously connected to the truth, but throughout the path of reaching to that state, do you believe that there's a one-size-fits-all meditation technique that guides people towards that state, or each person can develop their own technique, their own habits, their own movement throughout the day in order to get towards that state?
Mm-hmm. It is true that nowadays there are so many techniques, and it is also true that the journey is personal. And even if we use the same understanding and the same techniques, who knows what each one is doing, and the experiences of each one is unique. But since our aim is the self is the same, and we are all of the same nature, unique, at the same time all of us are human beings. And in the same way that at the physical level, the body has its uniqueness, each one has a unique appearance, but very much similar features. The same thing with the soul, the spirit. So each one of us has the same essence, and within this our uniqueness. So the aim is the same, and we want to see the self, and we want to remove what is on the way. So I think that maybe within this personal journey that each one has, there are certain things that we all have to do, and maybe without them, we will not reach the destination. And we have to be very clear what we aim for, what is the destination. So we need clarity in this, but also we need clarity in seeing what blocks the experience of the self. The rubbish that is there in what we call the third eye, that is our intellect, our understanding, so that we can remove it and be able and see the true self. Meditation is very much about clarity, removing the illusions that we have within, their own beliefs, the stories from within us, so that we can see what is there.
You've mentioned the self many times, and as every seeker is challenged with the understanding of who are we, who am I, what is the self to you?
One of the reasons that I moved from philosophy to meditation is that I realized that what is important to all of us is experience. So what I'm going to share with you is not just the information that I got from the Raja Yoga meditation, but the application of it, which is the experience.
Yes.
And the suggestion is, if it sounds logic enough for everyone else to experiment, whoever wants to experiment, find out. So the experience is that we are the source of this subtle world that exists within this body. So one aspect is the physical world, and within this physical body. But we all know that there is another world. There is constantly someone talking within the head, and this storyteller is the one who creates feelings and who actually experiences the life based on the stories that we say within our head. So each one of us is a storyteller that says stories about everything around us, and accordingly we feel. So what we feel is our stories.
Mm-hmm.
So when we meditate, what we are doing is we let go of these thoughts, of these stories, and we see the one who creates the stories, the source of the thoughts, and all the feelings that come with thoughts. So the self is the source of life, of all the stories, but all these other subtle faculties that we know we have, like remembering, dreaming, analyzing, deciding. All these are faculties of the self. So the self, the form of the self, is light, infinitesimal, indivisible point of light that has awareness, while matter is also energy but without awareness. So we are this light, this point of light with awareness, and with certain qualities within us that now we can't experience because we are distracted by the thoughts and the stories we have about so many other things except the self. So when we meditate, we are able to let go of these thoughts and create some space of silence within, beyond the stories, and within this silence you start remembering your true self. The true self is connected with remembering. We are always the same self, except that we have forgotten and we experience something else. So what we need to do is to remember. And in Greek, the word truth is alithia, without forgetfulness.
Alithia.
So to experience truth means to remember. So
beautiful. So what you're saying is that we're not our stories, we're not our thoughts, we're not our emotions. We are the awareness of these emotions and thoughts within us. And the moment we can create that separation and go into the realization of that consciousness within us is part of the state of meditation.
right. And just to add that, yes, we are the source, and this source of all of this is someone who is living, has a personality, has qualities.
Mm-hmm.
But we can't experience them because we're distracted by our thoughts.
Yes.
So when we don't have the thought, we experience these qualities. To experience them, we need awareness.
Yes.
We need to become aware. So the awareness comes from the soul, from the self, from this point of light. So we have to be aware of the qualities.
Yes.
So we are not the awareness. We need awareness to see our essence,
Okay.
our attention.
Okay.
All these are faculties within us. So we need to use all these faculties with understanding in order to experience our essence.
Okay. So outside of this fabricated surrounding intended to introduce the meditative state, how can one achieve that serenity in their lives when chaos is happening around them? So, in other words, what do you do to bring peace to yourself in these kind of chaotic situations? Because you mentioned that meditation should be part of our daily habit and even a constant state of connecting with the truth. So, in situations where we feel triggered with stress, anger, or whatever other emotion that arises within us, how can we keep that meditative state?
First of all, we should have these moments of, or these glimpses of the true self until it becomes a natural state. So we have to start with this. Each one of us has enormous potential for happiness, for love, power, peace, but it's blocked. We don't see it, we don't experience it. So we have to remove the rubbish, the curtains, and see this. And maybe in the beginning we see a little bit, or for a short time, not a little bit, we have to see it all, but maybe just for a glimpse. But this can work wonders because.
How do you think we can remove these blockages? So when we get to the awareness of observing these blockages or that wall that is keeping us from becoming our true self, how do we transcend that? How do we let that blockage go?
Again, understanding and practice.
Okay.
And this is a big chapter.
Yes.
But understanding who we are, how the mind works, how the thoughts are created,
okay,
and which part of the self can observe them, can let them go, can master them. So this requires a little bit more time, maybe.
Yes.
Maybe another
time.
Another time. Because in order to correct something, in order to fix something, we need to know how it works.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to know how the self,
mm-hmm.
how the soul, how the real I works. And then, yes, it's guaranteed that with the accurate knowledge and method, everything that is not real will be removed.
Mm-hmm.
The alloy will be removed. And then, until we reach that stage of 24 hours, 7, let's start with a few minutes. And then these minutes will be pulling us throughout the day. So if, let's say, for whatever reason, I'm able to feel great happiness and very deep love, this experience stays with us and it's pulling us. But then because we have so many other pulls as well and so many other habits, they take over.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like there is a subtle battle within us. For someone who has started the journey, it's like this, an invisible battle. On the one side, we have the old self with all the habits that they are there and they emerge and they take over. But then when we start our journey, spiritual journey, we know now that there is the other self, the higher self, which is the true self, that was hidden over a long period of time. And when we have these glimpses, then we know that it's not only that part that we knew, but now there is another part. So there are two kind of selves, one false and one true, and they're kind of fighting with each other. So the journey is about where I'm giving my attention, what I believe is true. We believed as truth the falsehood, and we gave it life, and we experienced it as true because we believed it. Now we have to believe as truth, the truth, and give life to the truth, to the true self.
The wolf that wins is the wolf you feed.
Exactly,
Yes.
exactly. Actually, this is the image that came to my mind while we were sharing now. So when we start having these glimpses now of the true self, it's like the true self wakes up again.
Mm-hmm.
So our aim is how to keep the self awake throughout the day. It will not happen just like this, because for so many years, the false self was operating. The wrong feelings, the wrong way of thinking, the wrong beliefs, all of them were there 100% constantly. So now we have the glimpses, but this is how we can start with these glimpses that we aim to accumulate, to use them throughout the day more and more, until it becomes natural.
Beautiful. One last thing I want to ask from you, Anna, is if you could show us a meditation technique, if you could meditate together as a final step.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Allow our body to relax. Taking some deep breaths. And we aim for the next few minutes to create more clarity within ourselves. So many thoughts and emotions. Not only our own thoughts and feelings, but everyone else's around. So much happening in this physical world. understand, to experience. Who am I? What is the reason, the purpose of all of this? We realize that we have been so active in this game of life. But we now see that we have this option to step back, observe this physical world, including this body, instead of being the active actor. We are the observers. Observers even our thoughts. We see how active our mind has been, non-stop thinking. We now see the thoughts as they come and go, without power, without life. We see them as words. But who is the one who sees, who observes? We now visualize the observer as light, subtle, extremely subtle, point of light, like a living, conscious star. Thoughts come, we let them go. Gently our attention is on this star. Behind the eyes, the center of the forehead, there is this invisible being of light that animates his body. It's like the body hid this being. As our attention remains focused, we see that this being is silent. Eternal source. Silence. And this silence is full of peace, love. The star is a source of love, very subtle happiness. sensations of the body is connected with all these invisible beings behind through silence. Silence is the experience, naturally, of the presence of the divine. When these stars become aware of this body, this room, this physical world, when we become aware, because we are the stars, we understand that we have the option to remember who we are as we play the role from the body. Remember that the only reason why we are here to share the true self, not the stories in the mind, but the silence behind the stories, the eternal divine silence that we are. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. And thank you everyone for watching.